Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful that you took the time to tune in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs. Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful that you took the time to tune in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful that you took the time to tune in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Listen, we have a great show lined up for you. I'm your host, Kim Jacobs, better known as the Balance Doctor. And all of our guests that come on, they're either people that have overcome some tremendous odds in their own lives as they balance this thing called life, or they're experts and they're here to share tips and strategies that will help you better balance and manage your life. Grab your virtual seats and let's get ready for some real relevant and relatable content on today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. Welcome to this episode of The Kim Jacobs Show. How are you, Dr. Mary Zennett?
I'm wonderful, Kim. And thank you so much for inviting me on your show. It's a real privilege.
It's a real privilege to have you here today. We're going to be having some great discussion, everyone. Dr. Mary Zennett has been a doctor for 35 years, and she's had a heart already for humanity and the pains and the sufferings that so many people go through. Her background in researching natural supplements with children that deal with bipolar and ADHD have had outstanding results. So today she's going to be just talking about some great news that she has for people with some things that she's been working on the horizon. So I'm really glad to have you here with us today. And everyone, grab your virtual seats because we're going to have a great episode talking a lot about a new nonprofit organization that Dr. Mary Zennett has started and what that means to the rest of the world. So welcome again. welcome. Listen, Dr. Mary, first of all, what made you become so passionate about even caring about people at this level?
Well, I'll tell you, Kim, I've done a lot of soul searching. It really was the influence of my mom. Okay. My mom had health challenges. Since the time I can remember was like 2 or 3 years old. She was always sick, but she fought and she picked herself up. She could barely many times get up out off the sofa. She was so impaired. So to make a very long story short, nutrition saved her life. And we would go to the library, and when I was young, and she'd be picking up books on nutrition, and it wasn't in vogue back then. This is years ago, okay? And so she became a master of nutrition. So, of course, that impacted our day-to-day lives because she was very nutrient conscious. Then what happened? She was quite sick. Remember, probably back then she had autoimmune and they didn't even know what it was. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
They didn't even know what diabetes was. If you can believe this.
Yeah, I understand. But she took it in her own hands. So she was caring for her own best interest, is what you're saying.
Exactly. And it was all prayer. She said, I really believe in the power of what I'm eating. And this was a real mission for her. So to make a long story short, back in the early 80s, she was diagnosed with cancer. And it had spread to the bone and the liver. And believe me, she took chemotherapy and we're praying and praying. She was down to 83 pounds and not doing well. But she never forgot all this about nutrition. So a little bit she ate, it was always good food. Well, Kim, to fast forward, Do you know? And she, by the way, this cancer had spread to the bone and liver. She was given 6 months to live.
Okay.
Do you know she made it 26 more years with good
Out of
quality
here.
of life?
Okay, so she was diagnosed with this cancer. It was
Mhm.
designated that she was going to have, the prognosis was that in 6 months or less, she was going to be
Yeah.
transitioning from this earth. But you really believe that because of her own education and prayer and things that she was doing to be
Yes.
able to be wiser, I guess, throughout this process, she was able to have her life extended for another 20 something years.
You know, and I remember her words. She says, "It's not my time to die."
It's not my time to die. Somebody type that in the comment section. Let me know you out here. If you know it's not your time to die, type that in the comment section. It's not that's profound. It's not
Yes,
my
it's
time
not my
to die.
time.
And this is from your mom. This is Mary's mom. What was your mom's name? What's your mom's name?
Francis, Francis.
Francis. Man, that's Mary's mom. That is a beautiful quote. If you all are going to ever quote that, make sure you type that it's Mary's mom that said it, Miss Francis. It's not my time to die. And as a result of that, she acted accordingly. When we're talking, Dr. Mary, about people balancing their lives, how
Mhm,
how do you make it through some of the trials and tribulations and situations that we encounter? You were caring for your aging mom, is what it
mhm.
sounds like, correct?
Oh yeah, both myself and sister. Yes.
You
Yes.
and your siblings were caring for your mom. What was that like? Just tell me about that for a few minutes, because a lot of people that are watching, they are currently caring for aging parents.
Well, and this is something we're going to talk about because the burden on the caregiver is just absolutely, it is absolutely unfathomable. We're going to be talking um, about Alzheimer's,
Right.
okay? And we'll fast forward to you, why we're talking about this. Do you know the cost unpaid for caregivers is already in the billions of dollars?
Hmm.
Billions, and not to mention the pain and suffering. I'll be honest with you. Back then, my dad was alive. So my dad bore the burden of my mom's illness.
Right.
Okay. But I'm going to tell you something. As she got better, then he just died. It was too much.
It was
He had,
because so much weight was on him and the burden of her disease state was weighing him down.
we were in school, and both my sister and I, you know, as much as we love my mom and we grieve for my mom, my dad gave us full permission to go keep doing what you're doing
Okay.
and be available for support and love and all that. But my dad did bear the burden of this, and it is a very heavy burden for
And he passed away
caregivers.
before she did.
He did. He did
Wow.
long before. And he was a strong, healthy guy. He should be alive today.
Wow, that's an interesting spin on things. I wouldn't have thought that from you being a child of your mom and your dad and
That's right.
watching the whole situation unfold to see him have the brunt of it to the point where you feel like it contributed to his loss of
Oh, it
life.
did. It absolutely did.
Wow.
You know what? She was so frail. And yet my dad was very, he was retired. He was the type of guy, he had the whole ship. It was all, he would take in her appointments. He had it
Mhm.
under control, that type of a persona. Okay.
Right.
Back then, it was not a sign of wellness to ask for help. It wasn't. It wasn't at all. So he felt like he had to do it himself, and
Wow.
he did. He did. But the toll that it took, and I think these are
Wow.
important lessons.
Yes. I,
This
I think
these
so.
these issues impact so many people. So the great news, my mom made it, okay? And she enjoyed better quality of life than she had before she was diagnosed with cancer. Hands down. I
Okay.
remember when the grandchildren were born and how active she was. She was doing things she couldn't do. And but all because in her mind and spirit, she believed,
That's
I
amazing.
am going to make it. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's
You,
really.
you're saying
Whew.
you're saying some very valuable things from people listening that are balancing and juggling life. What advice would you give now, even though it's hindsight regarding your dad and your
Right.
mom? So if you were giving advice to your dad at this time, which would mirror some of the virtual studio audience members, what advice would you give to them caring for someone that they love to
Yes.
make sure that they don't overtake themselves?
Don't lose yourself. Take care of yourself. See, my dad didn't have the best habits, okay? So my mom did, okay? As sick as she was, she she used to say, watch everything you put in your mouth.
Mm,
Literally. And honest, he did not. He'd
okay.
have little spells where he would try. Okay, he tried, but it was nowhere near what my
Right.
mom had. And I look back and I think, you know what? For my mom, it was like a health bank.
Right.
She was since I remember I was very young, she was putting a lot in that health bank. And wow, when she needed it, okay,
It
the
was
deck
there.
was not stacked her way, it was not, okay, and she was down to 83 pounds,
Hmm.
struggling with this metastatic cancer. That health bank was a resource that paid off for her. She could dip into that health bank and um, and flourish. I
That's
don't know any
good.
other way to put it.
Yes, because she had made those deposits. So now it was time for her to go in and withdraw. And what she was able to withdraw was exactly what
Yeah.
she had been working on, reading the books, educating herself, trying to figure out how to be more a healthier version of herself. So then she was able to pull that out and start utilizing it when it really mattered most, when she was diagnosed with cancer.
But she never stopped putting into the health bank. She never
Good.
stopped. As weak as she was, any little bit she could put in her mouth, it was a healthy morsel of food.
Hmm. That's good. Good. Listen, everyone, we're talking with Dr. Mary Zennett. I want to make sure you know, too, because people ask throughout the broadcast, how do you donate to the Kim Jacobs Show? You can donate by any of the ways that's here on the screen. And because I have audio podcast listeners, I read it out. It's $ Kim Jacobs Inc. if you're interested in submitting it through Cash App, or you can go to paypal.me/Kim Jacobs Inc. We also have Venmo at the Kim Jacobs Show, and you can become a Patreon member as well. Today's topic we're talking about is how to have that fine balance between mind, body, and spirit. And Dr. Mary Zennett is here to educate us on that. We have lots of information that's coming your way. We're going to take a commercial break, but let me let you know who the episode sponsor is. It is, I say doctor, but it's attorney Hunter Everidge with Hunter Everidge Law Firm. Attorney Charles Everidge is out of the North Carolina area, the Alabama area, and the Richmond, Virginia area. So if you all are interested in dealing with disability, or maybe you've even been denied a claim already, make sure you reach out to Hunter Everidge Law Firm. If you've had someone that had a wrongful death of a loved one, or you're dealing with workers' compensation, reach out to them, 704-457-5000, and let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. We'll be right back, everyone, right after this commercial break, and we're going to talk about your nonprofit, okay? All right, we'll be right back, everybody.
When someone has lost a loved one, they want to know what exactly happened. They want to know, is the other person going to be held responsible? And they want closure. At Hunter and Everidge, we help clients that have lost a loved one move on, and to do that with dignity and respect that they deserve.
All right, everyone, we're back talking with Dr. Mary Zennett, and you did an exemplary job along with your sibling, but it sounded like you had an outstanding father who said,
Yes,
listen, I got this. I'm going to wear the brunt of it, but I want you all to kind of live your lives and focus on some things that's for your age at that moment, right?
absolutely.
That's good.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be here without my dad. I
Thank
wouldn't be here
God.
without either my parents.
Hmm. Oh, I know you're proud of them. Talk to us, if you would. Alzheimer's is a really big thing that you're passionate about. And November, for everyone that wants to know, is the month of Alzheimer's Disease Awareness Month.
Mhm.
But the biggest thing that you need to know is that there are over 6 million Americans that live with Alzheimer's disease, and over 3 million new cases are diagnosed each year. And that's according to John Hopkins Medicine's website. But talk to us about why you became so passionate about Alzheimer's.
Well, over the years, as we've shared, I'm very interested in the role of nutrition and nutrients. So I started working with some doctors voluntarily. Nothing, wasn't like a paid job, but it was a passion of
Okay.
mine. And so, as you heard in my bio, I got involved with being a researcher of for children with significant mental health conditions
Okay.
with top quality nutrients. And those nutrients were donated. This was a pure volunteer effort. Kim, I have to tell you, I expected good results. I wasn't prepared for what I witnessed. Okay. These children who came in with bags under their eyes, they were medicated. A lot of them were, right on the edge of being assaultive, okay, kicking and, climbing down on the railings and just not focused at all.
Hmm.
So within 6 months, we saw such improvement in quality of life. Now, I will tell you something. Our parents had told us that please don't touch their meds. It took years to get these kids stable on their meds so they're not going to be evicted from school. And
Right.
our purpose was not to touch the meds. I was not the clinician in the study looking to
Okay.
change the meds.
Right.
We were looking to evaluate the role of high quality nutrients. Now, the
Oh,
parents, they would need to sprinkle, getting the kids to comply is another issue. Okay.
right, right.
Sprinkle in the cereal, be creative. And they did. To the credit of our donor, okay, we had lots of high quality nutrients to work with. So
Hmm.
by the end, we had a 6 month, and then it was like a 9 month. The improvement was incredible.
Well,
These kids,
I'm gonna interrupt you in a second. Just let me, because I want to interject to understand. When you say nutrients, and then I heard you saying sprinkling some things, are these nutrients that were medicine related, or like nutrients and supplements? What kind of nutrients?
now they're supplements,
Okay. Okay.
natural supplements, and with good bioavailability to the brain.
Good.
Okay, a lot of supplements they say, we have expensive urine, we're peeing it out, we're not getting it in our, and these happen to be formulated that they get excellent bioavailability, so the kids had these. So wow, did that get my attention? Okay, you can't, once you see something, you can't unsee it.
Period. Right. No matter
If
how you slice it, you can just act like you didn't see it, but you already saw it. So now it's
you
there.
already saw it exactly.
So you
So
saw
then
these
what?
results in 6 months, and you and the physicians that you were doing the
That's right.
research on behalf, you all witnessed this. Everybody, the parents, did they witness it also?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So that got my attention. And back then, I said, I'm going to have to someday be involved with more of these studies. See, here is the problem today. We live in a nutrient depleted world. Okay. Our soils, I'm very sorry to tell you this, are not nutrient rich like they
Hmm.
were 100 years ago with our ancestors. There's some reasons for that. Okay. The pesticides do not help us. Okay. Now, I know we need pesticides to kill out the unwanted bugs. Okay.
Right.
But these pesticides, okay, they rob the body when you're using so much of it. Okay. And our stuff here in the US, we're just loaded with these pesticides, herbicides. So glyphosate, you read about this. So what it does, it robs the body of nutrients.
Mm.
So we got food that's killing the pesticides, but there's no nutrients left in the food.
Right.
So now let's extrapolate that to the problem of Alzheimer's. Okay, the number one population of people around the world that is most vulnerable to nutrient deficiency are our seniors.
That's right. That's good.
They are. They do. First of all, it's expensive. You
Right.
know as well as I, Kim, we're all balancing budgets. It's like, wow, how do I feed my family with nutrient rich food? And the price of food has just gone off the scale. And they
Girl, when eggs reached $11 one time in my groceries, I was like, is this an error? I went to the front and asked, I said, is this a typo? But now it's back down. But I was like, you know what? Now this is ridiculous. And we're eating eggs. So what are we
it's
to
like
do?
it's even $7 or $8. It is absurd. And if you want a decent quality, but these are big issues,
Mhm.
and we people need to be aware that this is going on. So the seniors are number one risk. They're on fixed income. I hear stories today that the seniors are not able to maintain the cost of insurance, the cost of just keeping their lights on in their homes.
Right.
It's too expensive. So, what goes first? The food, the quality of the food.
Mm.
So, keep that in mind. And then, when you look at the data on Alzheimer's, that the rates are going up. We live in an ed, what am I going to say? Advanced society. We live in an advanced society. Our rate should be going down.
Right. Oh, yeah.
They
That
shouldn't
makes
be
sense.
going.
The richer we are as a country, you would think that it would benefit the individuals that live within that country more, is what I'm thinking you're saying, right?
Exactly. And it is not happening at all.
Hmm.
So through my work with my own, the studies, I worked with the doctor. Actually, you'll hear about him, Dr. Reg. Dr. Reg McDaniel, he's in his 80s now. He has dedicated his life to studying the benefits of the micronutrients for children and adults
Wow.
for
This is a
health.
picture of Dr. Reg that she's referencing right now, everybody.
He's
And
an incredible, incredible heart, incredible human being. He's a wealth of quality information. Now, don't think that anybody has laid out a red carpet for him to do his research.
right.
No. Why? Because there's so much profit motivation in the research that people like him have had to step outside what you would say the mainstream. If you
Right.
can believe this, nutrition, which you would think is mainstream. Okay. So what we're saying is, so I Dr. Reg asked, he goes, you know what? He and another doctor, Dr. John Lewis, who is again world-renowned researcher.
Do I have his picture as well as this the other gentleman?
I think you have it.
Okay, let me pop that up too then. Oh, is this the gentleman that did the TED Talk? Is that
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay. Yeah, I do
yes.
have it. Yes. Okay, hold on. So I have a picture of him as well. Yes. Now, what is his name?
Okay, Dr. John Lewis,
Okay.
Lewis.
Dr.
And he
John.
too, he has dedicated his life. He has researched. I mean, his credibility is he has he's been the principal investigator of over 30 different studies in his research career. The principal, and
Wow.
that's
That's
no small
huge.
accomplishment.
Yes. Now, so
And he has
you've partnered with
over,
the two of them.
yes,
These are the ones that you did the research with them.
we did the research with Dr. Reg, and now we're embarking, Dr. Reg and Dr. Lewis. Okay, so this is what happened. In 2013, they published a study, and it was in the Journal of Alzheimer's. And this was a small pilot trial, but they demonstrated that giving the seniors with Alzheimer's, and this was moderate to advanced Alzheimer's, this is not early Alzheimer's, okay, they demonstrated statistically significant improvement in cognition and stem cell function. You say, well, what's a stem cell? Okay, we
Right.
all have these little cells in our bone marrow, okay?
Right.
And they're like remember what I told you about my mom, the food bank, the food reserve? Okay, are the stem cells provide that reserve so that we can produce more cells where it's needed. So they demonstrated in their pilot trial back in 2013 that their Alzheimer's patients had 46%
Mm.
improved cognition and improvement in stem cell production. Their bodies produce more stem cells.
What percentage was that again? You said 40?
46% with the cognition.
46% is significant. Significant in
It is
any clinical study.
highly significant. And the reason we're bringing this up, and the reason our mission is to get, we need to be talking more about this. We need a larger study, but we need to be talking about it. There's great data, but it's buried in the annals of, it's in the medical library and nobody knows anything about it. Well, if your family member was suffering with Alzheimer's, okay,
Mhm.
moderate to severe, and you knew that this was going to help, this could help them. We don't make promises. Nobody can promise
Right, of
anything.
course not. Right.
But you look at the data, is significant.
Mm.
46%. You'd say, I think we need to be looking at some things. And what I know, and again, I've been in the I want to say the real world, and when people get a diagnosis of Alzheimer's, they it's like a hopeless case.
Right. That's pretty much what people consider it a sentence to death type of
Exactly.
thing.
That's
And
exactly right. But then, okay, you look at the study
hmm,
that was published. Again, this was back in 2013, and you had people that were professionals, and they were starting to think again and communicate again. We had a gentleman who was able to navigate. He knew where he was. He could go from, he could, give you the route from the home to the clinic. This was unheard. This is moderate to severe Alzheimer's.
so
So I really want the audience to embrace that concept.
yes.
Oh my God, there's things we can do. And most important, Kim, we need to be studying more. You see, now, so what the two doctors that you've seen their pictures, they have proposed to do a larger, more comprehensive study. But they have tried to raise the funds. They have been shut down and shut down and shut down.
Hmm.
Now, this is tragic but because this is a very common problem and it's only getting more
Yeah.
common. And when I think
3
of
million
doctors,
cases a year, that's it's getting significantly worse.
it is.
So you don't want
And
that.
globally, this breaks my heart. The global rates of
Mm.
Alzheimer's are just, I mean, they are literally exploding, exploding. Now, who bears the brunt? As we talked about with my dear dad, it typically is the spouse, the primary caretaker. They're home, they're retired, and naturally, I know how my dad was. He goes, "I'm here. I want to do everything I can," and that's what caregivers do. But the statistics are dismal for the caregivers. Is the costs, the untold costs of caregiving for patients with Alzheimer's is already in the US in billions of dollars.
And who can and nobody who can afford this is unacceptable when we know that this is a prominent disease that what you're saying these
Thank you.
physicians are here working to provide a viable solution. Now we obviously know that none of us can say, and this is just strictly the views of my guest that's here today, but none of us can say that we have the solution or the
No.
answer to the entire problem. But if you have a portion of the solution, what a beautiful thing to start contributing to society the way that Dr. Reg and Dr. Lewis is doing. How do people get involved in some of these studies that they are
Well, the
doing?
first study with our not for profit that we're going to focus on is raising funds for a larger Alzheimer's study
Okay.
because they've got everything set up. Okay, they had the small study that with the significant results.
Hmm.
So now it's time to build on that. And this will be university level. This is not I have a little clinic and we're just going to do, unprofessional. It's going to be very professional.
Very good.
And there's a lot of checks and balances. These studies are very detailed. So this one is going to get into even more details and they will measure a lot of what's going on in the body and the mind and so to give us better understanding of what's going on in this
That's
debilitating disease with the goal of improving quality of life. Kim, it's all about quality of life. We're not
yeah.
cure, treating, or mitigating disease,
Right.
but we are helping. Think
That's
about it. If somebody is no longer combative, and I will tell you, with the first pilot trial, they had almost a complete reversal of combativeness. These
hmm.
patients were no longer well, think about that.
So who wouldn't want to try that if you have a parent or a family member that's going through this and there's a study or a clinical trial that's opening up for your family member to participate?
Mhm.
Wouldn't everyone? I would think I definitely would want my family member to participate.
Absolutely. Well, and I will tell you, for the
Hmm.
first trial that was done back in 2013, oh, they had an outpouring of interest, a
Okay.
tremendous,
I would think so.
tremendous.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and I will tell you, I think as a society, I think we need to start getting more comfortable in having these conversations. Because if you notice, you don't, other than like we're having our interview here, but we don't talk much about it.
Hmm.
We think, oh, research, that's part of the university. But this research, okay, because of the esteemed doctors that we've got, and Dr. Lewis is a voluntary professor in his university, which is one of the best integrated medicine universities in the world.
Hmm.
He is volunteering
That's amazing.
and helping us use the resources that
Yeah.
he has access to provide the larger study for patients. So it really is, we call it research for the people.
Hmm.
This is not, nobody is you know going to be on their laurels. They're They're not using this research as a stepping stone for their own gain. It is for the gain of the people.
What a blessing. What a tremendous
And
blessing.
Kim, you know what? Honest, in prayer, I've been through this round and round myself. I said, because there's a lot of different things I could be doing with my
Of
time
course.
right now. I said, I cannot not do this.
Hmm.
This is when God gives you an assignment, is, well, you can say, okay, Lord. Or you could say, oh, that's too much. That's too difficult. I can't raise all those millions of dollars, which
Hmm.
I can't. But you know what? God has already provided for
That's
it.
right.
He has provided the resources. And it's up to us to speak our truth, empower people with this information. And then we get the study funded. Our mission is to get this study funded by the end of the year.
Wow. Okay. So
And
that
yes,
is a major undertaking to be studied funded by the end of the year. We're talking with Dr. Mary Zennett, balancing mind, body, and spirit. And the website where people can go to donate, go ahead and tell them what that is. It's right there on the screen.
yes, it is GHH.world. Global Health and Heart. That's the name of our not-for-profit. .world.
That's awesome. GHH.world. GHH.world. There are a lot of questions coming in. And when we take our next commercial break, which is with our episode sponsor, Dr. Jody Bear, who has Confidence Tones. Confidence Tones also helps with a lot of things that people are dealing with and struggling with. That some of the things that you're even talking about here today that helps calm the overall body and mind. So since we're talking about mind, body, and spirit, I want to make sure that you get to hear from Dr. Jody Bear, Confidence Tones. So it's drjody.com/confidence tones. So we'll take a break and we'll be right back and answer some of our studio audience questions right after this break.
Welcome to Confidence Tones, where we use a proprietary audio development formula called audio immersion to provide an experience that's designed to help quickly and effortlessly generate positive change in the subconscious mind when used correctly. This experience is achieved using 4 primary building blocks: brainwave modulation, invocation of positive emotions, immersive imagination stimuli, and developmental suggestion. We know of no other source in the world that provides the synergistic combination. With a good pair of headphones, you'll be able to immerse yourself into audio that's designed specifically to help you feel better, do better, and live better.
All right, everyone. Again, we are talking with Dr. Mary Zennett, and that was Confidence Tone. So make sure you check out what Dr. Jody Bear is offering. So let's go to some of our studio audience comments, because it's been quite a few coming in. And Mackenzie, if you could pop some of them up backstage, I'd greatly appreciate it. Give you a chance to answer some of them, Dr. Zennett. Oh, okay, Lady Justine Hillier said, this is really good information that you're sharing. What type of nutrients should we be taking, even possibly as a preventative type of measure, is what she's asking.
Well, and one thing we can do in our website, we can talk about, we want to be very respectful and not get into that profit motive. As much as we would love to, it's not our place. Okay, we want to be objective. And what we can do on our website, we can provide several names of different supplements that, in fact, some of the supplements that worked for the first Alzheimer's study. I think that'd be very valuable information. We're always looking to improve our protocols. In fact, I'll be honest with you, there's a doc who's doing some work on Alzheimer's. And we sent her a letter today. We said, you know what? We're working together here. There are some supplements that were very helpful for our patients. Is this something you would like? We would donate the supplements for if you had a few patients who's really struggling that's not getting better. What I mean is this is communication and collaboration is so, but the principle is you want something that is pure, not synthetic, and that is bioavailable, that gets absorbed in the gut. And I'm going to tell you another thing. We had a pandemic, okay, not that long ago.
Yeah.
And no matter who you are, you have been impacted by the pandemic. No matter what you no matter what you believe, no matter what. Okay, the fact is, as a population, we are not as stronger as we were prior to the pandemic. Now, there's a lot of individual needs. And that's one thing we're going to be putting on our website with articles and stuff. We're not here to generate controversy, but we want to empower people. There are, okay, what if you had long COVID? All right. Now, I've thought about this many times. Okay, it weakens the brain, it weakens the body. How many of these Alzheimer's patients may have had long COVID? All right. And how are we going to sort that out?
That's right. These are all things. I mean, this is such thought-provoking conversations and questions. And I would think that there would probably be some roundtable discussions, some town hall meetings, because what you're saying, so many people need to be heavily involved in, because we don't know who's going to have Alzheimer's in our lifetime. You know,
we do not.
So
we do not.
Next question. Who has another comment or question out there? Mackenzie. Mackenzie said, do you think that everything should be organic, or how do we prevent the pesticides from?
Thank you for asking that very important question. I've had a lot of discussion and controversy because I'm a big fan of organic. If it means growing your own plants at home, do your best, because you know it will be pesticide free. So, but there's a lot of controversy about that. Why? Because there's economics around that.
That's right.
There's a lot of food in our grocery store. Think about it. That's not healthy for us. Okay. Case in point, go to the cereal aisle. What you could maybe pick one box out of hundreds that would be remotely considered healthy for you, yet it's in our day-to-day diet. So I would strongly encourage you to do your best to eat organic. And whatever supplement you take, you want to make sure that it is grown with the same organic standards.
That's good.
Quality standards.
So if you're purchasing in the grocery store, what she's suggesting, Dr. Mary is suggesting, is buy organic. And so then that's the possible closest thing that you're going to get to pesticide free, is what I'm thinking. I'm hearing, right?
Yes.
But if you're growing your own vegetables, which I know my daughter, we grow our own in some regards each year.
Beautiful.
What do you recommend in that regard to make sure that it's pesticide free?
Well, it's the same thing. And what we have to do is get on YouTube, learn. There are holistic gardeners that give good instructions as to how to do this. And don't let it sit and get overripe. Pick that produce. The other problem we have with our produce today is that another reason it's so full of pesticides, because it can sit on the shelves for long periods of time. Well, and that puts us at risk.
Right. Big time. Okay, so these are great questions that you all are asking too. Any more questions or comments? And if anyone wanted to pop into the studio and ask a question directly, you're more than welcome to use that link that you see over in your comments section. It'll pop you right into the broadcast. Okay? Any other questions that came in? Let's see. And I saw Dr. Tina Ramsey, you said you're watching. Thank you so much. With CTR Media Network, we thank you for being here today and always supporting all of the podcasters under your leadership. And if you don't know about CTR Media Network, we are streaming in 100 countries and 350 million households. So definitely check out CTR Media Network and let them know the Kim Jacobs Show sent you their way. Or you could say Dr. Mary Zennett sent you their way. Okay. All right. Either of us. All right. Justine Hillier said, are there any natural healing herbs that we can take?
Yes. And that's a very individual question, which is why I'm suggesting that in some of our upcoming articles that we delve into this more, so that because I don't want anybody to think is a one size fits all.
Right.
Because it's not.
That's
It's
good.
not. So, but yeah, the more interesting, the more when it raises our awareness and we start reading and learning, it's amazing how much information is out there.
That's good. That's really good. And what you're saying is, I love how you're saying it's customized. And so it's
Absolutely.
hard to just say a blanket if this is for everyone, which lets me know that you're even more true to it being a real situation with a very viable, positive outcome, hopefully. Listen, if any of you are interested in starting your own show from scratch, but you want to know some of the nuances and how to do that, then definitely go and visit kimjacobsconsulting.com. And Les Brown does endorse the program as well. We all know international motivational speaker and legend Les Brown. There's a video over there that you could check out as well, kimjacobsconsulting.com. And I'd love to work with you for 6 weeks on your journey to creating your show. All right. So listen, any other comments, questions? I don't want to leave anybody out because this has been some great stuff that we've been talking about. One of the things I know you want to do is you want to raise this $3 million, and God instructed you to pretty much do that according to what I've read. And it's pushing you out of your comfort zone. How can people get involved with this right away?
Well, we will have a donate button right on our website and should be up within 24 hours. If you're moved to donate $1, $5, 50, 500, 1,000 or more, please do so. This is research for the people. And when I say that is, we don't have a whole board of university professionals telling us what we can or cannot research.
I'm going to pop it up actually with what you do have on your website currently, so people get a chance to see it, because this is helpful.
Yeah. Please take some time to look at the videos, and there's a lot more that's getting ready to be launched there. And again, that donate button will be up, let's say, by the grace of God, in 24 hours. And we so appreciate your donations and word of mouth. Okay. You all know people. Yeah. So see, this is Dr. Lewis and Dr. Reg. And can you go up for a second? This is Jim Illick. I want to introduce you. We haven't talked about Jim. Jim is the heart, besides me, that holds this together. He was the research coordinator for Dr. Reg. This is back in the day. That's how I know Jim. He had studies. He was doing impossible work, coordinating all these studies. And like me, his heart is in this. He is passionate about raising more funds for quality of life
Wow.
studies. So there's a lot that goes into this. Um, Research is not, like I said, you don't just open your office and say, oh, we're going to research. No, it
Right.
does not work that way. It does not work that way. But and again, God is directing our steps. And I already know those funds are there.
Mm.
So it's up to us to be open and listen and say, okay, Lord, where do we go? How
That's
do we get these funds? Because these people need it. We know they're lining up to be part of the next study. We know that already.
Oh yeah. If you put it out here like this, that the next study is now open, and
Mhm,
please, before you have that next study officially be available to the
mhm,
communities, please notify me, because I don't know how African Americans respond to these different studies, but I
mhm.
would love to be able to reach out to some people that I know deal with things like
Yes,
this, and
yes,
and
yes.
encourage them to participate in the studies. Now I'm doing it right now, but I'm saying when it's officially
Yes.
open, I'd love to be able to have some people be a part of that.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. And we will, Kim, it has been such a privilege to speak about all this
Mhm.
at this moment in time on your show. And we will most definitely keep you in the loop, let you know.
Okay. Okay. Now you say mind, body, and spirit, which was our topic here today, and how important it is to have that fine balance. Was there anything in any of those three categories that you didn't get to touch on that you'd like to speak on?
Well, I would say um, the root of it is spirit. The root of it is prayer. We each have a divine calling and destiny on this planet. There are so many problems that we have, and but so we use our minds, okay, to think about. So like when we said earlier, gee, we live in a very nutrient deficient society worldwide, okay, that we can use our minds, our
Right.
bodies without the nutrients. How are we going to function optimally? But most important, it's spiritually.
Hmm.
Spiritually, what are we here on this planet to do?
Wow.
What is our purpose and destiny on this planet? And each of us has our own answer to that. So we
That's right.
continue to pray.
That's right. Well, I typed that what you just said. I was typing that which the road. Oh, did I? The root of balancing mind, body, and spirit is spirit. We all have a
Yes.
divine purpose on this earth, and you heard that from Dr. Mary Zennett. That's the takeaway. That at the end of the day, if we're living our divine purpose, then we're going to be balancing the mind, body, and the spirit. It'll be in alignment because we're doing God's will in our lives.
Yes.
I love that. You make me feel better just by being in your presence virtually here. I wish I was right there hugging you. It's a virtual hug.
Oh, thank you, Kim.
Listen, I also want to acknowledge two more of our episode sponsors, which is Jeremiah J. Jacobs. And I'll be remiss not to mention him because he literally does pay for his sponsorship and everything. He's like so serious about it. He's my 18-year-old son, though, in total transparency. So I like to make sure I always share that. But what he does is he does websites for different business entrepreneurs. And so if you're interested in learning more, you can visit jeremiahjjacobs.com. And his prices are reasonable. He does overlays and templates for different broadcasts, like you'll see where you put yourself in different frames and have kits where it's 2 people, 3 people, so forth. He does all of that at jeremiahjjacobs.com. And he is the Black Fisherman, if you ever want to check that website out as well. He teaches people about the proper bait and what the right kind of inflatable boats are and all of that kind of stuff too. So he does a lot of things as an entrepreneur that just recently graduated and had his Make-A-Wish come true. He was able to go to New York City to meet with Robert F. Smith, billionaire Robert F. Smith. And then our final episode sponsor that I will tell you about is another son of mine, and his name is Ivan Major. We call him MajorPT.com. And Ivan went on a transformational journey. He's been fighting cystic fibrosis, him and his brother Jeremiah both have battled that disease, but instead of letting it overtake them, they have, and they probably utilize a lot of those natural supplements you're over there talking about, because they do have some supplements that they are required to take, and they've been very helpful. But he was about 300 pounds or so, and with this lung disease, he decided to go on a weight loss journey, and now he is this. That's all I'll say. He's this. Okay. And so with that, with no surgery or anything, he's now majorpt.com student at UNC Charlotte, and does a National Association of Sports Medicine certified. Visit majorpt.com. Tell him that the Kim Jacobs Show sent you his way. He's taken about 5 clients, okay, virtually or in person if you're in the Charlotte area. But I don't know if you're watching out of the country, you might not be in Charlotte. Okay. All right. What's any closing comments that you have, Dr. Mary?
I want to express my heartfelt thanks to you, Kim, because you have your platform and you so graciously offered my nonprofit to launch this study. Literally, we're launching it right now.
Oh, that's so. Wait, everybody. Okay, that takes it to a whole different level. This is being launched. Let me put this back up here. Y'all, everybody put some emojis, some excitement that this is exclusive on the Kim Jacobs Show, that this is happening today.
Yes, I get chills.
It's one thing to say, oh, go to ghh.world and, cast your support out there and donate. But this is the kickoff to the $3 million project that ghh.world is doing to raise $3 million for research and studies for kicking Alzheimer's in the head, right?
Amen. Amen.
What does GHH stand for, please? Let people know that.
Global Health and Heart. Global
Health and Heart. This woman is the epitome of someone who did not have to take this on as her God-given mission. You don't even have, do you have a bunch of family members that deal with Alzheimer's?
No.
No, that's what I'm saying. So it's not like this is something that she personally had to say, because I had this situation in my family, then that made me passionate about doing this. For me, that would be the case. Because I have 3 children that battle cystic fibrosis, I'm very passionate about being an ambassador and helping and going to speaking engagements. But that's because I'm passionate too, because my children have had this battle. This woman right here does not have a family member that's been battling this that she's talking about today. She's doing this because God put it down inside her heart to help the rest of the world who have parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles that are dealing with Alzheimer's disease. That's amazing.
Kim, I think about this, the abandonment that people suffer. Okay, you have a loved one with Alzheimer's. Now, the thought that they cannot even recognize you. Okay. And, again, I work a lot with kids. The abandonment of our kids today is just, it's catastrophic. Now, if we had parents and grandparents and aunties and uncles that were more able to stay involved in their children's lives, as they grow up, okay, what a better world it will be. Because as well as I, if they could, they'd be there in a heartbeat. But when you cannot even think, when you don't have any confusion, it's all confusion and it's muddled, and it's so sad.
Yes, I've witnessed that in my family with Alzheimer's, and to watch the level of deterioration and how quickly it can happen is the person from how you knew the person. So for this to come and overtake their mind, and there could be possibly some level of solutions just to be able to keep it at bay, it would be beautiful with this clinical study. I do want to just say a shout out again to Dr. Reg, and I know we put the pictures up a few times, but thank you, Dr. Reg, for going against the grain and doing what it takes to provide these level of clinical trials to be able to offer some solutions to this world with people battling Alzheimer's. And thank you, Dr. Lewis. I think you said Dr. Lewis here as well, for what you bring to this situation. I know you are international TED Talk and you do all kind of professional things here, but for you to take time out of your busy schedule and to contribute to GHH.world's initiatives to help combat Alzheimer's is to be commended. So thank you.
He's the bridge. I see Dr. Lewis as the bridge. He is a voluntary professor at a highly prestigious university where he used to be, a full-time professor doing their studies. Now he has decided, I'm going to do my studies, things that I believe in. And of course, what he and Dr. Reg did with this pilot trial back in 2013, their full-fledged mission is to expand that, get this out, and offer it to people.
Awesome. Y'all, make sure you stay connected with GHH.world. You can visit GHH.world to put your donation in today. What time is this donation button? She didn't put it up because she was launching it here on the show today.
Exactly. Yeah. Let's prayers that it's going to be done by the end of the day, at the latest tomorrow. Okay. So let's believe that is going to be up and active. And we thank you so much. Thank you so much in advance for your donations and to get the word out.
Yes.
To share with other people. We all relate on a community level, on a family level.
Yes.
If there's anybody that needs to know about this research.
Well, 55 million people, according to Alzheimer's website about dementia, is alzint.org, and they're talking about dementia. They say literally over 55 million people worldwide are living with this disease in 2020, and the number has almost doubled every 20 years. So approximately 78 million people projected to have dementia in 2030. That is like huge. And 130 million by 2050. So these are just some projections. But right now in 2020 anyway, which means it's already increased, 55 million people worldwide have been living with this disease. So yes, there are a lot of people that should be flooding the gates to be donating, because it's impacting our own personal loved ones, and getting into the studies when the invitation is open.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Lots of thanks to all of you in the virtual studio audience. I see you, Dennis Spraggins. Thank you so much for being one of the faithful viewers of the show. And thank you to everyone that's tuned in today. You have made the show what it is. We truly appreciate each and every one of you. Tune in tomorrow and on Wednesday. We have some great new episodes lined up all week. I won't timestamp it because I may be replaying this episode, but you want to be in your virtual seats tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. and don't miss what's in store for you. Okay. All right. Have a great day. Thank you, Dr. Mary.
Thank you so much, Kim. And thank you, audience, for your time and attention and your open hearts.
Amazing audience, trust me. All right. Take care, everybody. Have a great one. See you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye-bye. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of The Kim Jacobs Show and for being in the virtual studio audience. Your presence truly does make a difference, and I look forward to you bringing your friends and family to join you in the virtual studio audience Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time.